best of the
Commander.
best.
Got no reverence. What's the plan? GSTL. Kaboom, baby!
Welcome back, guys. We're only 3 games in, but things are getting pretty heated. Tails has sniped the All-Killer with an awesome 5 gateway strategy on Grand Lagoon, and now we're going into Cloud Kingdom, in fact, as our next map.
Yeah, Yoda is up against Tail now. We have a Terran versus Protoss. Yoda climbed into the booth. And let's see if Tails is actually ready for his next opponent.
Cloud Kingdom is an interesting map choice to me. I feel like it really favors Protoss in the late game on this map, talking about once you have that 4th base up. But before that, there's a lot of different multi-prong harassments. We've seen Gumiho use, for example. We've seen other Terrans in the past go for attacking at the 3rd base, dropping in the main, going to the natural. If you are really good with your micro and your multitasking, you can actually put so much pressure on off of 2 base as a Terran as you take your 3rd. It's really hard to resist Protoss to defend against that.
I really feel that right now Tails is in a position where it's like, okay, well, I don't have anything to lose here. Even if I lose the match, my one job was to take down Yonghwa. Yeah. That's what I trained for. That's what the coach wanted to use me for. So he's completely fine. And if Yonghwa, for example, takes this right now, I feel we're going to see maybe Sniper.
Yeah.
Maybe a Zerg player. There are a lot of options that Team MVP has now, and they are ahead. They are 2-1 ahead in the team match. And yeah, this should be a good one. Tails known for his builds. We've seen it in the last game. Does he have something prepared for Cloud Kingdom? I guess we're going to find out in a few.
Yeah, I think that may be... I think we may see something just straight up out of Tails this time. Not going to be... I mean, there's no way for him to prepare for this specifically, so there's no way he's going to have some strategic plan like the one we saw last game. If he does, then he's even cooler than I thought.
Tails energizing himself with another hot 6.
Check out his map win rate. He's never played on this map before in a televised match. That's pretty crazy if you think about it.
Yoda, on the other hand, he's really strong these days. I mean, this guy is still in Code S. Has a pretty strong group, though.
Yep. Yoda is a tough player to face, but Tails, man, he's pretty resilient. He's creative. Can he start a streak here up against LGIM? Let's find out right now on Cloud Kingdom. I have Wolf. With me is Caldor. This is the GSTL.
Starting at the bottom left for Incredible Miracle for LGIM is the Terran player. It's their 3rd player today. It is...
LGIM, Yoda!
Named himself after a Star Wars character. Speaking of which, man, Star Wars Episode 7, how's that going to turn out?
That's actually what I wanted to ask you, but well, let's introduce our Protoss player to the top right first. He's starting, of course, for Team MVP. He took down Yonghwa, he's a sniper, and he calls himself...
MVP, Tasia!
Yeah, what do you think about actually being a new Star Wars movie?
I'm terrified and excited. Like, I'm really scared, but at the same time, I'm really excited because... To me, you know, I really like Star Wars. I watched it so much ever since I was a kid. I was a big fan of 4, 5, and 6, obviously the original trilogy. But to me, it's like that has its place. And then anything else, like the prequels, so many people hate the prequels. I like the prequels. I feel like they have their place. I don't like the prequels more than the originals. Don't, like, send me hate mail, but... It's like, to me, it's just a different version of a story. So if it turns out, like, I don't really like 7, 8, and 9, it's not like my heart's going to be ruined because it's not the same thing at all. It's like we're in the future now.
Okay, this is the one time that I will speak about it. I will deny its existence for the rest of my life. I'm afraid that it will turn out to be a little bit like this movie that some people call Indiana Jones 4. I hated this so much. I was a huge Indiana Jones fan. I watched all the movies as a kid and I loved it. Indiana was my hero. And then they when they actually announced the 4th part, I was so excited. I hoped that it would be like the Fate of Atlantis, which is like the adventure that you could play back then. And I thought they would try to just copy the storyline, which would have been awesome. And then they start with this weird stuff and these weird ideas that they suddenly have, and they ruin the entire series. I could have killed all of them. I was so angry. I looked at this movie and was like, really? For like the first half an hour when I watched it, I tried to find excuses and be like, yeah, it can still be good. There is a way, and then suddenly this nuclear missile explodes and he's in the fridge and all this stuff happens, and I'm like, oh my god. And yeah, I really hope that the new Star Wars movie won't follow that example.
Yeah. Excuse me, I got something in my throat.
It's called the Pain Wolf. You are just remembering Indiana Jones 4, and that's what's happened to all of us.
Yeah.
As soon as we think about it, we have to like the gag, and we're like, ah.
Yeah, I had to drink some hot six there after you told me about that, but
well, we are still not fine.
yeah, I mean, I'm having some trouble.
But you're actually right. It was that bad.
It was definitely not what I expected. But I think, you know, when you think about the prequels of Star Wars, to me, it's just like they close the story and they have their place. And if you don't like them, then that's fine. You don't have to watch them. And you can also just pretend they never happened. You can do that, and that's fine.
Indiana Jones 4 never happened. I would love a fourth movie, actually. Maybe following the Fate of Atlantis. Right now, we have only 3, and they are awesome.
You know, like, there's some things in series. By the way, let's mention the builders briefly. We've got a 1-rack CC and a triple barracks with 2 gas being added. And Tails went for a slightly faster next. There's only 2 probes in his initial gas, but
right now, not too much excitement going on here. Just the usual builds, and Yoda playing it safely with the bunker and the additional production buildings that he just added.
Twilight counts are coming down pretty quick here. For Tails, actually, though. That's interesting. I wonder what he's got planned with that. But just to close the note on prequels, to me, it's just, you have a prequel or a sequel, it's like when you go into it, it could be epic, but if it's not, I feel like you can't take anything away from the original series from that. Some people are like, well, I don't even like this series anymore because they ruined it. It's like, well, that's crazy to say, actually, because you loved that series when you were growing up, and that's really stupid if you suddenly just like, because something else came out later, you don't like it anymore. That's dumb and that's crazy. That's my last note on this. Stem has started, and Wolf has ended.
The Twilight Council is also done, but it didn't start any upgrade just yet, and we don't have any kind of transition. There's the Blink upgrade. He also has, of course, now the Robo ready, and therefore we will see an Observer here. He can use Blink for a high-ground Blink later on. Yeah. It's going to be pretty interesting how much aggression Tails wants to execute with this. Yoda has his bunkers up. He actually builds a second one because he wants to be super safe here. Doesn't have any Marauders. It's just purely relying on Marines so far. And looking at the Harvesters, we have 29 to 24. No additional probes being built by Tails.
Yeah, he's actually going to be doing, it looks like, very aggressive timing attack with these Stalkers. Yeah. We've seen this in the past. Usually not on this map. Usually on maps like Antigua or on Zelnaga Fortress was a really notorious map for this. Obviously that map has been long gone. But he's going to see his 2 bunkers on the front. That's to make him really happy. He's going to be like, all right, well, that's exactly where I'm not going to fight you.
Look at this build. This is actually like pretty awesome. He doesn't produce any probes for a long time now, so he saves up all this extra minerals that he needs, warps in Stalker after Stalker, really focuses on his army more than on his economy. But this natural was, of course, scouted. So at this point, there is this... Yeah, Yoda is trying to think about, okay, what's going to happen here? And he doesn't realize what kind of build we have by Tails. This could actually end the game if Tails gets, like, good engagement.
He doesn't see the pylon, and now he sees the Observer. He knows about it. He's got to pull back into the main right now. He sees it, and he blinks in. He's going to be able to kill so many Marines here. Sim is not even done yet.
Oh, this is like awful for Yoda right now. Tails with a really good build. He didn't produce any Harvesters as mentioned, and therefore he could just use all this resource that he had in his army, and look at these blinks.
So beautiful here. He loses 1 stock on the low ground, but everything else is so crisp. And
this may be it.
I don't even think this is a maybe anymore.
This is crazy. The SCVs are going in again. He's already down to 25. More and more Marines are dying. He's blinking in again, and this should be the nail in the coffin. Tails playing this so well here.
You know, I did not expect a build so technical from Tails 2 games in a row, but he's shown that he knows how to do it. Those medevacs are desperate to get out here.
Tails and Trader, they are known for his builds, and Tails, this was beautiful. Even if this doesn't work, he has the Nexus. He can just start to chrono boost his economy.
He's dancing.
But he doesn't even have to. Right now, he has one. GG! Tails takes down another victim. Well played. Really well played. I love this. I love this build that he executed. 2 bases, not overcommitting to drones, just to probes, just 24. Then he attacks, and even if this is not successful, it's not taking down Yoda, he can still fall back to his economy.
Yeah. Well, Tails basically just executed Order 66, man, and Yoda is in exile now because that was just a brilliant attack. The defense for Yoda was safe against a normal ground-based attack, but that's not what he faced. You know, Tails from Sonic the Hedgehog can fly, man, and that's basically what we just saw. He tapped that jump button twice and then kept tapping it and flew right into the main with those Blink Stalkers.
And he must be in really high spirits now. We have a 3-1 lead for Team MVP. Once more, LGIM in trouble.
Yeah.
It's incredible if you think about it. These players that they have on the map, it's insane. MVP, Nasty, Seed, MC is here. We have Yonghwa, who already all killed twice. Yoda, another player who's incredible. So many awesome players, but every single time on the GSTL, they just seem to struggle so much.
Yeah, they really do. And when you think about what's happened so far as an LGIM player now, are you thinking, I want to go out and I want to snipe this guy, I've got a build, I've got a plan, or are you going to stick to Hirai's plan where it's like, all right, we've got an order, we've got these maps, but you're a strong player? You know, I think we might see now is Lucira. I think it's time for Lucira to come out and put on some aggression.
That's a good point. We could see Lucira here sitting at the bottom right.
Wow.
I think you're right, yes.
Oh, wow, this is a great choice. I love this. Lucira coming out. You know, I can't tell if Lucira dyed his hair or not. It looks like there's a... Is it the same one as he had before, or is it just a slight reddish tint? I think he tinted it. I want to see. But anyway, more importantly than that, I feel like he's a great choice here because he's an all-around good Zerg player. He can put on the aggression himself, and oh yeah, he definitely tinted that.
There we have him, Lucira, the man with the twitch.
Man with a twitch, and as far as I know, by the Wolf stat here, he is the person who has changed his hairstyle, or his hair color, I should say. His style usually doesn't change more than anyone else ever. Pro gaming, I'm talking about StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2 together. I think he has done it more than anybody else. I can't think of someone. If you can, please tweet at ProxyWolf and tell me, because I would be interested to know.
Do you know how disturbing that would actually be if you had like real statistics for that?
Well,
I hope you realize that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just if I had that, you know, like
Yeah.
if I had a notebook at home that's in a drawer that has a lock and I wrote everything in it and I watched the VODs every night.
Atosis has the build order book and you have the hairstyle book.
If I had something like that by any chance and there was like a special mechanism where I could destroy it if it was discovered,
but
that would be really weird. But
Wolf, come on, confess, you wish you had one.
I will say nothing.
I didn't really expect an answer.
I mean, if it just happens to be like in the third drawer below my mouse with a pen in there.
Yeah, Kira style, and with a fake bottom, and as soon as someone tries to pick it out, then it just bursts in flames.
If there were one hair from every pro gamer in there as well, that would be really weird. But since that's not the case, we can all just calm down and stop.
Wolf actually secretly has all these voodoo dolls back there. Lucira isn't actually twitching, it's Wolf.
I'm actually building a pro gamer mannequin that has one hair from every pro gamer coming out of it, and eventually once I have all the hairs, it's going to look like the ultimate pro gamer. I mean, hair-wise.
So it twitches like Lucira. What else?
I don't know. It's the thing is, if you made the ultimate, if you try to put every pro gamer together, how long would his hair be? Because pro gamers generally have long hair, but some people like to shave it off. Like you've seen the Shoyu effect, the Air Force.
I can't believe that was your conclusion. You're talking about making the perfect pro gamer, and the only thing you're asking is like, how long would his hair be?
How long would his hair be, though?
The more important question is, what color would his hair be?
Well, probably dark, actually, but I don't know. I think that if you wanted to do this, though, I don't know what the average length of hair, because you've got Clyde Burns, for example. All right, you've got the Null Raw long hairstyle like San was rocking for a while. By the way, he qualified for Kode. I mentioned that earlier. Then you've got Air Force One style where you've got the shaved head. Shoyu has gone from shaved head to long hair. Used to use multiple colors. Then you've got the Tails effect where you suddenly or live where you suddenly go full orange. Right, you go full orange.
Just tiny little bit.
Also, would it be curly?
Okay, now even more.
Does he spike it? You can't combine.
You want to create a new Coca?
No.
Okay.
But there's too many styles that cannot be combined in one. That's what I've decided right now. I've come to the conclusion. Isn't it great that we've had this long downtime for me to talk about this? Like, it's like everything just came together.
Wolf goes home and I was like, okay, now I know what I'm going to do with the doll that I have.
I have to destroy everything.
Yeah. I think you do. Actually, the special forces are already at your place trying to look for it.
Yeah, probably so. But they won't find anything.
The creator of the universe will take you down.
There he is.
Yeah, there's actually Lucira right now. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. Both of the players are not in the lobby yet, so I just love how Lucira uses his keyboard. This is so awkward how he presses keys, but it's so funny.
Yeah, he's very fast.
Yeah.
He's quick and nimble. You know, I said this before, but if you look up the old Flash Twitch videos, quote unquote, you can see like Lucira actually has a similar way of sitting in the booth. And I think that comes with nerves a little bit, but it's also just like trying to get focused. Lucira doesn't ruler it up though.
Lucira has this crazy angle for his keyboard, which is actually like really funny. He angles it inwards,
exactly,
which is really cool. I like it. Yeah. I used to do that for a long time, and then I actually started to try to have the keyboard like properly adjusted because after a while it feels awkward. At first it's like good, but then
eventually when you go to other keyboards too, you're like you sit down somewhere like you don't have a lot of room. The first time I actually had my keyboard angled like that is actually because the desk I had made it so that the cord yanked it kind of sideways because I had to pull it as far back as possible because of where my computer had to be, and it was kind of sideways, and I was like, what am I going to do? I got to play games, and I don't have a new desk, so... Nowadays, I would just get a new desk because that would be crazy, but...
Do they have a problem with the hardware, or what's going on?
Actually, I don't know. I'll ask.
Do you remember when I talked about what we had yesterday? I wanted to tell this one story about Atosis.
Oh, yeah.
So Atosis and I were going to the gym when we were done, and I just told him, okay, well, listen, I have to go to the mart right now because I need to buy some bananas. And he's like, yeah, that's actually a good idea. I'll get one myself. So we walk out and we try to pay, and I'll just get some coins. And he says, like, oh, you're actually paying with bills and coins? I'm like, yeah, why? Well, I always use my credit card. And I'm like, oh, yeah, well, okay, that's fine. Why? He's like, oh, actually, in Korea, if you pay with a credit card all the time, you get a reduction on the taxes at the end of the year. And I had no idea. I had really no clue. So that was really a pretty cool piece of information. And Atosis was all high and mighty, you know. He was like, yeah, I always pay with my credit card, you know. He has to pay like 500 won, so like 50 cents. So he hands her the credit card with a smile, and it's like, I always pay with my credit card. And then she starts to try to pay with that, and suddenly everything just starts beeping because the amount is too small, so he can't pay with it. So he looks really dumbfounded. And then he's like looking at me, caller, can you borrow me 50 cents? He didn't have any money whatsoever. But the entire time he's like, yeah, I always pay with my credit card. Here you go.
Yeah, well, that's actually a common story. If you try to buy something with a card in Korea, it's a low price, you probably won't be able to use it.
I didn't even know that, and I had no idea that you get a tax reduction at the end of the year.
True.
So usually I just try to get the cash from the ATMs, and then I pay with that.
I have like this really weird system where I pay certain things with card always and certain things with cash always.
My problem is just like I feel like I don't really keep track of things if I always pay with the card. If I have like a certain amount of money in my wallet, then I know, okay, how much I spend. I can always check.
You just look at your wallet every time you buy something, you know how much you've spent without having to load up your internet banking app.
So guys, you just learned that there's no point in robbing Atosis.
He's got nothing.
There's no cash, nothing at all. Only the credit card.
The map here chosen by Lucira is Daybreak. He wants to play as Zerg versus Protoss here. He actually looks really stressed out. If you look at the difference between Lucira and Tails right now, you can see that Tails is basically only blinking. Lucira is moving everything around. He's got his keyboard all sideways. He keeps jostling around in the chair. Looks very nervous.
Lucira also one of the players who has to participate in the Korea qualifier tomorrow. Last time he reached the final. Now he's playing in the GSTL. LGIM against MVP. MVP in the lead with a 3-1. It is time for Lucira against Tails.